It's your man, 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. Today is part two of the rewatch with me. It's the Detroit Pistons versus the Atlanta Hawks. Second half of the game. There are certain things that I noticed about this game that I want to get into as we rewatch this game. I have it queued up to the second half right now, so whenever you get on with me, I'm going to give you timestamps throughout this so you can kind of see a little bit of my process, and you're going to also hear some very specific things that I think the Pistons have to clear up. Now, I know we've got plenty of time. We got December, right? We've got January, we've got February, we got March, we got April, but every day is a part of that process. You don't just get to the end of the season and then miraculously you're where you need to be for a playoff run. It starts every day, and it starts viewing your game and your performances in through the lens of what would be competitive, what would be effective when it matters the most in the playoffs. That's how I look at development. That's how I look at coaching. That's how I look at playing. Antoine Johnson, what's good? It's good to see you in the chat, brother. What's good, bro? Salute to you. So I'm starting off with the second half. One of the things I noted about this second half is Cade Cunningham goes into the second half with 10 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, shooting 3 of 6 from the field. He ends the game. He's going to end the game with 25 points, 6 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals, shooting 10 of 23 from the field. So he gets no more rebounds in the second half. He only gets 2 more assists. He'll score 15 more points, but he'll score 15 points shooting, 7 of, let me see, difference between 6 and 23, 7 of 17. Now you might look at that and say like, okay, that's not too bad, 7 of 17. But when you actually begin to look at how it affects the game, he's not getting assists. And it's not to say that guys aren't open or not open, or maybe they're just not catching the ball. Maybe they're not knocking down the shots. And we're gonna take a look at that because Chaz Zanier certainly misses a few wide open kickouts. But it's to say that we're looking at the impact of styles of play and becoming more heliocentric versus the ball sharing of the first half that got us the lead and allowed us to get to where we got to. And then we're going to look at guys like Jalen Duren. He had a lot of defensive lapses in the second half. A lot. Like a lot. It was rough. It was really rough. And then we have Asar Thompson. Asar Thompson ends this game with the worst plus minus on this team. He was a minus 10. And a little bit of it has to do with who you're playing with, but also a lot of it has to do with how he started the game. He started the game atrocious coming off the bench. Maybe it was getting your legs back under you. Maybe it was finding your rhythm. Maybe it was figuring out, just the role expectation of coming off the bench. Maybe that was all included, but the impact was still what it was. And so we're going to take a look at not just how he continues to impact the game in the second half, but then the heroics at the end of the game. Him and Cade probably have 2 of the most tremendous Herculean efforts to close out this game. This is why I titled my previous video, not the one yesterday morning, but the one beforehand, of the previous night, that they escaped out of Atlanta. Because before those heroics, the Detroit Pistons were in a fight. I think it gets down to a 1-point game, and it is absolutely a fight that could have went either direction. And then our stars show up. So I want to talk about all of that in this second half. I'm going to go through it. So I appreciate y'all joining up with me. If you haven't already, smash the like button for me. Hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Remember, it's a little thing for y'all, but it's a big thing for me and the channel. So I appreciate all the support, all the love, showing up, showing out. The conversations in the chat, as always, I get to them as much as I can. If I am not catching your comment that you want to talk about, shoot me a super chat. We'll definitely chop it up. Take a moment for that. But otherwise, let's get into it. The Detroit Pistons versus the Atlanta Hawks, second half. Here we go. All right. Getting ready to take the ball out. I love Dennis Jenkins. There's been a lot of conversations about Dennis Jenkins' long-term potential outlook for this team. I think when Ivy gets back, Dennis Jenkins goes to that six-man role. And I think it's a great role for him because even as much as I like him alongside of Cade, I kind of like it more when Dennis Jenkins is very aggressive. And I've often noticed he's not as aggressive when he's playing alongside Cade. And I talked about that before. There's a potential to defer when you have a superstar player next to you. But I like Dennis being aggressive. So we can talk some more about that. Let me know in the chat, what do you think when Ivy gets back? Does Dennis go to the six-man role, or does Dennis remain in the starting lineup somehow? Yeah, because you can always move Duncan to the bench. But then, of course, JB also said that Asar Thompson is their starter. So, I don't know. Ivy or Dennis? Let me know in the chat. Right now, the first play of the second half, they immediately do a little cross screen action, swing the ball to Duncan, who then drops it down uh, to Jalen Duren, gets fouled by Jalen Johnson, knocks down the free throws. We got the Atlanta Hawks coming back. Immediately, Onyeka Kongwu takes a three in the corner against Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren, look, his ability to contain three-point shooting bigs is absolutely horrendous. But where he earns his money is on the other end. A quick pick and roll from Cade and Duren, and Duren scores easily, splitting Jalen Johnson and Onyeka Okongwu. But here's the thing. As beautiful as that was, he trots down the court, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker does a one-man fast break and is able to score at the rim, and Jalen Duren is just a second too late to stop the and one and block the shot. It wasn't just that someone else fouled Nickeil Alexander-Walker, but it was also that he got the and one. It was a slow and one. It was kind of like a, well, there's no one here. Let me just toss the ball up. And Jalen Duren's watching instead of recognizing, yo, he's about to get an and one. I've got to stop this. Nickeil makes his free throws, of course. A couple turnovers back and forth. Cade Cunningham still does not get a superstar or all-star level call. And what's kind of crazy is by the time he does, well, JB challenges the call, it kind of was just him. But it's been tough. He does not get a call. I've said it before. JB needs to ride these refs for Cade Cunningham to make sure that he's getting the calls that he deserves. All right, really quick. Cade drives baseline, dishes it off to Duren, who instead of doing a little push shot from 8 feet, decides to bounce pass it to Isaiah Stewart. Likely an excessive extra pass. Stewart's able to handle it, though. Does a turn, jump hook, makes the shot. But a bit excessive in the passing. You don't want a lot of passes inside of 5 to 8 feet from the rim. It's better for you to just go up over the top, especially if you're Duren. Just a nice little jump hook, push shot. Yo, what's good? Hey, low budget gamer, it's good to see you, brother. It's good to see you. So Dyson Daniels takes Isaiah Stewart to the rim. Now it's really interesting. Dyson Daniels is a legit 6'6", 6'7". 6'7". 6'7", right. But he looks as big, if not taller, than Isaiah Stewart, which is wild. It's wild. So we got to really recognize, like, how big is Isaiah Stewart doing what he's doing? It's pretty tremendous. Pretty tremendous. All right, here we go. Cade. Okay, Duren takes a spill. That's why he's behind this play defensively. Cade Cunningham throws a pass. Jalen Duren gets undercut by Jalen Johnson a bit, falls down, no call. These referees, man, these referees, definitely not refereeing us as if we are a number one seeded team who has a lot of talent. Still reffing us like we are, I don't know, Charlotte or the Wizards. It's kind of wild. It's kind of wild. JB Bickerstaff is taking a timeout. Cade is livid. He's taking hits, getting knocked to the ground. Duren is taking hits, getting knocked to the ground. Um, yeah, this is just far too often the situation. And Atlanta, once again, pushing tempo. They're actually running the game down our throats too a little bit in the second half. They are getting out and sprinting down the court, trying to catch us out of position, which they have, I want to say, already two or three possessions and getting to the free throw line. You have Dennis Jenkins handling the full court pressure from Nikhil Alexander Walker. How he gets the ball up, I've said it many times, against pressure is just like textbook. It's just textbook. He doesn't look rattled at all. Um, Kay Cunningham with the drop pass inside to Isaiah Stewart. Great job getting the entry pass to Isaiah Stewart. He has to get stronger with the ball when he catches the ball. It's too many bobbles for Isaiah Stewart. He's got to catch, squeeze, and pivot, not catch and put the ball down because he's getting the ball knocked out, especially around guys like Dyson Daniels. Kay takes a really tough fade shot, really not the shot that we're looking for. 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2. Yeah, bro. This is something I've said repeatedly about Cade Cunningham. You need to have your spot on the court that you are constantly targeting to get to, that you know from this spot, you are going to get a great shot. And he just doesn't do. I know he can make a lot of shots. I know he's very talented, very skilled. But the greats, that's where they make their jump. It's in efficiency. And it's still something that he's struggling with at times. All right, we get the stop. Good contest by Isaiah Stewart on Jalen Johnson. Isaiah Stewart just once again showing laterally he can stay with some of the most athletic, some of the most downhill athletic forward centers. 100%, this is why we believed if we had Isaiah Stewart for the Knicks series, we would have beat the Knicks. Because he would have been a one-man band stopping Karl Anthony Towns. We wouldn't have had to put Tobias Harris on him. We could have went double big and put Isaiah Stewart on him. And that would have completely smothered Karl Anthony Towns. So I'm actually looking forward to a game against the Knicks. But if I was the Knicks, if I was Mike Brown, I would rest my starters against the Pistons, especially if it's in the first half of the year. Somebody in the comment section, let me know, when do the Detroit Pistons face the New York Knicks? When do they face the Knicks? If they have a game against them in the first half of this year, even if it's Christmas. Well, I mean, if it's Christmas, you want to play your starters. The NBA is doing that for a reason, for the ratings, for the business side of it. But if it's like a late November, early December, and I'm the Knicks, I rest my starters, at least Karl Anthony Towns. I don't want to give the Pistons a look at putting Stu against Karl Anthony Towns in a matchup because it could be bad business for Towns. But worse, what it'll do is it'll increase the confidence of the Pistons and their ability to shut him down. And January 5th, I might still rest him. Appreciate that. Yeah, mid-range free throw line is a spot. Once again, on the other end, Jalen Duren gives up another three to Onyeka Okongwu. Gives up another three in this second half. That's two already and not getting down the court. Cortez Whitlow, great point. That mid-range free throw line is his spot. And literally, that's where he gets to in his the pullback jump shot against Dyson Daniels. Then he gets the steal against Dyson Daniels. Fast break. Nice, beautiful spin move against Vic Krejci in full speed downhill, turns, finishes at the rim. Thing of beauty. The Detroit Pistons truly do rely upon creating offense, generating offense out of transition defense, out of getting stops and getting back the other end. But then the Atlanta Hawks, as they've been doing, quickly down the court. Jalen Duren, man. Jalen Duren botches this pick and roll defense. Nikhil Alexander Walker being screened by Onyeka Okongwu. Duren not giving a hard hedge. He opens up He actually ends up screening out Dennis Jenkins and giving a straight line drive to Nikhil. And then then Nikhil Alexander Walker dumps it off to a finisher for wide open layup. Kay Cunningham doing a lot of over dribbling, finds Duncan Robinson in the corner, who actually drops the ball, goes right through his hands for a wide open three. It's a great look, but a lot of extra dribbling. I don't like all the dribbling. It's a 7-point game. Pistons force it. Actually, it's an unforced turnover. It's just a miscommunication between Double O, Onyeka Kongwu, and Dyson Daniels. Yeah, but Cade in that free throw line, when he can get to that free throw line downhill, man, it is a thing of beauty. I think he's going to eat just like Paul Pierce used to do. All right, Cade kicked to the opposite corner with Dennis Jenkins. Dennis with the drive, baseline, beautiful kick out pass to a wide open Cade Cunningham, who misses the catch and shoot three, and Isaiah Stewart with the putback. Cade Cunningham's catch and shoot threes is something that needs to improve, especially as Jaden Ivey comes back. He is going to get increasingly more and more open three looks. He has got to knock those down. I think he will, but a large part of it is he needs to get more arch on that 3-point jump shot. Atlanta comes back the other way. Jalen Johnson makes a great high-low pass to a cutting Onyeka Kongwu, who gets the switch and has Dennis Jenkins on him. Once again, Jalen Duren is in no man's land. He's in no man's land. I'm not sure what he's looking at on this play, but he's completely out of position. His man, Onyeka Kongwu, screens Dennis Jenkins. Duren is doing this drop thing, which is really kind of lazy defense because it's an off ball, kind of a screen situation. He didn't need to drop. He goes into drop, ends up Dennis Jenkins switching onto Onyeka Kongwu. Then he loses track of Onyeka just rim running Dennis Jenkins. Jalen Johnson throws it over the top. He's late for the help. Wide open and one for Onyeka Okongwu. As I said, defensively, the Detroit Pistons struggled, and a lot of that is Jalen Duren. They're putting him into all the actions, and they're just getting good looks. Whether it's wide open threes to Double O, whether it's high-low action, they just keep getting great looks. All right, Cade with the beautiful give and go with Jalen Duren finishes inside. When Cade Cunningham is moving north and south, and this is a term that you'll hear a lot with coaches, going north-south versus east-west. A lot of the side-to-side action, a lot of the sideline-to-sideline shakes are very ineffective in games. Going downhill, north and south, straight line drive to the basket is where teams are most effective, players are most effective. But he gets that bucket there. And somebody, I need someone to look up, what is Jalen Duren's percentage on drives to the basket? He has to be absolutely absurd. I have not seen another opposing big man, when he puts the ball on the floor to drive to the basket, is more successful than Jalen Duren. It's something I've said over and over. He needs to shoot the ball 15 times a game. He's just that efficient. He's that efficient. When he drives the ball, especially when everyone's worried about all the other shooters, he is 100% a freight train that no one seems to have a solution for. He's got really good agility, footwork, ball control. He's got this step through where he keeps the ball high, finishes off the glass, great touch. He's just really unstoppable when he's attacking his defender. Now we have here, coming back on the next play. Okay, Jalen scores it. Of course, the Hawks are going to push the tempo, trying to catch the Pistons on their heels, quickly into pick and roll action, swinging the ball around. Vic Krejci, I'm so glad they're playing him instead of a Muhammad Gay, because Muhammad Gay was giving us issues. Turnover, Jalen Duren gets a steal on an errant pass. Cade looking inside to Isaiah Stewart against Double O. He gets fouled on the post entry pass. Here come the subs. Asar Thompson coming back into the game. Asar Thompson does a number on Jalen Johnson in the fourth quarter. I want to see where he starts in this third. Great action for Duncan Robinson, off ball screen, uh, movement shooter. He is just absolutely lighting it up. Absolutely lighting it up. D Rock 0702 was good. Good to see you in the chat. Salute to you, brother. Appreciate you coming through. Yeah. Cade definitely picked Dyson Daniels' pocket. Okay, we got Javante Green in the game as well. I really like Javante Green. And here comes Mo Gay with the energy. Almost gets the second chance shot. Vic Krejci for the Atlanta Hawks can't seem to get himself going. I mean, this is what happens when you play our level of defense. You know, most of your guys are not going to have the games that they would think that they would have against us. Cade walking Dyson Daniels down. We got a foul call on Vic Krejci, off ball against Duncan Robinson, holding him. I like the action here in the strong side, short corner, trying to get screens from Duncan Robinson on Cade Cunningham to free him up off of Dyson Daniels, which is really smart. Cade with the drive inside. Oh, Jalen Duren lob. He just smokes this layup. It's probably the first smoked layup I've seen from Jalen Duren probably this season when he was point blank. That's one he definitely wishes he could have back. Then gives up another open three to Mo Gay. Fortunately, Mo Gay misses the open three in the corner. Duren, man, I appreciate at least you're giving effort to close out. But that's something we got to figure out. Teams are recognizing, yo, if you got a big who can shoot 3 or 5, 5 of 10 from 3, yo, let it fly against the Pistons. Because Jalen Duren in his closeout, it's just you're gonna get a lot of good looks. Cade trying to take Dyson Daniels one-on-one, takes him down to the short corner, step back. No one else touches the ball in that offensive possession, and he misses the jumper. Out on the Pistons, going to Atlanta, coming back the other way. This is where the heliocentric offense I don't like. I don't like. It's unnecessary. And if you are going to be heliocentric with it, get to your spot. Get to your spot. And like my brother said in the chat, that's that free throw line. Got to get to that free throw line. Oh, Vic Krejci thought it was sweet. Tried to go up over the top. Asar Thompson sends it back. Cade Cunningham out in transition, and he gets to the free throw line. Asar Thompson with the major block. This is the Asar Thompson I think that we have come to expect. We expect Asar to make big time plays as a help defender and on ball defender. When he is anticipating the play and he's in position, he covers Duncan Robinson on this backdoor cut by Vic Krejci. He just comes over and he just beats that thing off the glass. He just beats it off the glass, and it's just that's just an incredible play. The verticality, the timing. Vic Krejci doesn't even see him coming. He thinks he could just get it up high off the glass. It doesn't matter. Asar sees it, blocks it, and then we're off to the races. I guess they called a foul on the ground. So now the Pistons are taking it out. Cade looking for the pick and roll, throws an errant pass to Javante Green in the dunker spot from the top of the key. Really, it's just a bad pass. It's picked off by Luke Kennard of all people. If Luke Kennard is picking off your passes, it's a bad pass. Jalen Johnson and the Atlanta Hawks race it down the other end, score quickly the other way. Turning turnovers into buckets for the Atlanta Hawks. We have Paul Reed attacking the hoop, dumps it off to Ron Holland, who's moving without the ball, much better, who gives it right back to Paul Reed, who does the lefty scoop, beautiful lefty scoop, and is able to finish. Right back come the Atlanta Hawks, and they are pushing tempo against us. They have seen something. They are seeing something against us where they're saying, hey, if we push tempo, we can get easy looks. And they get just that. They get to the rim. They get the offensive rebound. I think Mo Gay gets the offensive rebound and knocks down the shot. Cade Cunningham with the top of the line, top of the key. 3-point shot from 5 feet behind the 3-point shot. Look, man, when you're 0 for 4 or 5, taking a shot 6 feet behind the 3-point line probably isn't another 3-point shot you need to take. Cade misses, and Moge there for the rebound gets knocked out of his hands by Paul Reed, and it's Atlanta's ball. All right, we got Ron Holland at the point of attack on defense against Keaton Wallace. Javonte Green guarding Nickeil Alexander-Walker. This tells you where they want matchups. Javonte Green gets our toughest wing matchup over Ron Holland. Dennis Jenkins holding his own against Luke Kennard, trying to post him up. Can't do it. Not only does Dennis Jenkins force the kick out after turning him about 3-4 times, he gets the rebound. And then he attacks Luke Kennard, gets downhill in transition, and gets the lay. Immediately. The impact by Dennis Jenkins in the game with Cade Cunningham out. I love it. This is how we want literally Asar Thompson to be playing. This is it right here. Get a stop on defense, go get the rebound, bring it up in transition, attack downhill. Right? Dennis Jenkins just, man, his court awareness and IQ out there is just, it's just a thing of beauty. It's a thing of beauty. He is going to get a lot of minutes off of our bench. Let me be 100% clear about that. Dennis Jenkins is going to get a lot of minutes. He is going to become our sixth man. I think that's probably the best way to put it. Between him and Tobias Harris, they will be our first two Pistons off the bench once everyone gets healthy. Once Jaden Ivey comes back, you're going to see Dennis Jenkins, Tobias Harris, probably Duncan Robinson, and then it'll probably go Paul Reed and then Ron Holland, if not Javonte Green. I think that's when everyone is healthy. In the playoffs, though, I would anticipate Javonte Green getting minutes over Ron Holland, but we'll see. We'll see how he finishes this season. All right, the Hawks continuing to fire away from those corner threes from their center position, but they miss it. Asar Thompson clears the rebound. Looks to just set up the offense and just pass the ball. Very passive offensively from Asar Thompson. Just swinging the ball and just standing around. Asar, man, we need to see you more aggressive. Dennis Jenkins tries that drag pull-up three, comes up short. Jalen Johnson clears it for the Hawks. They come right back. Dennis Jenkins having to guard Jalen Johnson at the point of attack. Jalen Johnson takes advantage of him, takes him down to the block, scores right over the top. It's probably not a matchup that we want. And help has to come sooner. You can't have Dennis Jenkins guarding 6'10" Jalen Johnson. Okay, we're running our action, dribble handoff. The read is not there for Ron Holland. Back to Paul Reed. Dennis Jenkins looking to take Keaton Wallace to the rack, and he does. Once again, getting downhill. Oh, and then Asar Thompson just rips the ball out of Keaton Wallace's hands. That play was just fantastic. It's just absolutely fantastic when you see your defender, like Asar Thompson, just rip the ball out of the hands of the opposing point guard. Literally, just like, give me that. Just like candy from a baby, literally. It's like big bro, little bro. Like, give me the ball. Quit playing with me. But Nickeil Alexander-Walker gets it back on the other end, gets a screen, attacks his defender, gets downhill, finishes over the top. Nickeil Alexander-Walker has probably one of the best games against us, other than Jalen Johnson and Onyeka Okongwu. But I didn't think he was going to be able to carry over the offense that he has, but he has. Dennis Jenkins, as the time ticks down, runs a little pick and roll action with Ron Holland, who takes. Okay, let's get into this play. This is a part of the challenge of integrating new lineups. This is the first time Ron Holland has set a screen for Dennis Jenkins that I can remember since Dennis Jenkins came into the rotation. The clock is going down. There's about a second difference between the game clock and the shot clock for the Detroit Pistons and the Atlanta Hawks. Here comes Ron Holland setting the screen on Keaton Wallace to free up Danish Jenkins. If I'm honest with you, I don't know if he even needs it because he just beat Wallace the play before to score a lay at the rim. But Ron Holland comes to set the screen, trying to get Luke Kennard on him, right? And that's a good switch. If you can get Luke Kennard guarding your ball handler at the end of a shot clock, end of a game clock, you should get a great look because we know Luke Kennard is supposed to be hunted, and to a degree, he is right here. Ron Holland's going to set this screen, and he does not roll. He does not roll at all. Danish Jenkins makes the correct read. The help defender and his defender both flow to him. He's got two guys on him, and he throws the pocket pass exactly where Ron Holland was supposed to be. Exactly where Ron Holland was supposed to be. Ron Holland is not there. This is where the turnover happens. Ron Holland figures it out too late. Jalen Johnson scoops it up. Euros to the rim. Ron Holland gets back, fouls Jalen Johnson with 1.8 left in the third. So that is a bit of a chemistry thing. It's going to be interesting. Look, I know there's a lot of really good chemistry on this team. You know, guys really love each other. But when you're fighting for playing time, it's going to get competitive at some point. If you're a coach, you want it to get competitive at some point. You want guys to start saying, he's playing over me. He's playing over me. Like you want that. Ron Holland is going to get squeezed for minutes. Let's be 100% clear. As Ivy comes back, as Tobias Harris comes back, Ron Holland is going to be squeezed for minutes. I would not be shocked if there's some DNPs back in his future. I'm dead serious. And as much as we want to see him playing, we haven't seen the game slow down for him yet. And there is still a strong degree of sometimes he's just out of position. He's not quite there yet. And when you have veterans who are needing to get re-signed, veterans who are in contract years like Tobias, like Duncan Robinson, like Karis LeVert, like Danish Jenkins, right? All these guys who have more experience, who are playing better than you, you have to look at, okay, where does my second year player fall in terms of deserved playing time? And it's going to be a challenge. Chaz Lanier is in the game at the start of the fourth. He struggles. He struggles to be a factor. They're closing out harder on him after he hit those 3 threes in the first half. There's a clear effort to take Chaz Lanier away. And I don't think he has the same ball creativity that Duncan Robinson has. I mean, to be off, in all fairness, to be fair, he's a rookie, so you're not expecting that level of ball creation. But it's just to say that he doesn't have the same effectiveness in this second half that he did in the first half. Asar Thompson, once again, not being very aggressive, dumps it off to Chaz Lanier for a really good three-point look, just goes in and out, does not fall for him. Ron Holland containing on the perimeter, moving his feet, does a great job moving his feet. Great job on the switch. This defensive lineup with Ron Holland, Cade Cunningham, Asar Thompson, Isaiah Stewart, it's just lights out. And then they got the shooter out there in Chaz Lanier. But it's lights out. Atlanta is struggling to be able to get what they want out of their actions. They're switching. The Detroit Pistons are switching everything. They are just making it extremely rough. Isaiah Stewart loses the ball. He's saying that he got fouled. But Isaiah Stewart, you have to understand your matchups. Posting up on Onyeka Okongwu is not a mismatch for you, especially when Mo Gay is helping. If you catch it on the interior and it's not straight up, you should be kicking the ball back out, not trying to create. Then we have the Atlanta Hawks playing some perimeter defense. It's funny because now coaching staffs have a guy who can review when players are like, "Oh, review it, challenge it," and then you have an assistant coach who looks at the film and goes like, "No." You just see like the mouth moving. No, don't do it. It's hilarious. Yo, Onyeka Kongwu with another three. Yo, this is third three in the second half. He's lighting our asses up. Atlanta taking advantage of the ability to have a knockdown three-point shooting center. Mo Gay rips the defensive rebound away from Isaiah Stewart on the missed shot by Chaz Lanier, who I said goes cold in this second half. And then the Atlanta Hawks race back down the other way. Nikhil Alexander Walker with the lay, the right-hand lay. And now the Pistons are calling timeout. It's a smart timeout. They have to figure out a way to take away that three-point shot. What they're doing, what the Atlanta Hawks are doing, is they're putting their opposing center on the weak side. On the weak side. They're loading up the strong side so that there's no help rotation to cover that three-point shot from the center. And what this does, they're going to run a little pick and roll action on the strong side so that they kind of get all the defenders bottled up on one side. And then they just kick that ball either to the opposite corner or the opposite wing. And then they find either Onyeka Kongwu really in this game or Mo Gay with a wide open three. And it's Isaiah Stewart or Jalen Duren trying to close out. And their closeout speed just isn't athletic enough to get there. And so they're getting wide open looks. All right, here we go. So Chaz Lanier missed his first couple of shots. He's still in the game. He's still in the game for some reason. Cade Cunningham, Isaiah Stewart do a little pick and roll action. Great feed by Cade Cunningham to Isaiah Stewart. He just smokes the layup. Lack of size showing up. Mo Gay with the offensive rebound from a Vic Krejci miss. Man, Mo Gay is doing work against us. 6'11", really lanky, athletic center forward for them. Does some great work on the boards against us. Here we go. Cade Cunningham creating, kicking the ball out. Teron Holland swings it to Chaz Lanier, who misses another good look open three. Chaz is ice cold. And then, Muhammad Gay creates another offensive rebound that ends up in a Dyson Daniels push shot for the score. It's now a 6-point game with 8:50 left. With 8:50 left. This is tough because we're not clearing boards. We're not scoring on the interior. This is where I think we needed to switch up our offensive approach. Not doing pick and roll with Isaiah Stewart. Cade misses another three coming off the pick and roll because Isaiah Stewart really doesn't finish well in the pick and roll when he doesn't have a size advantage. Oh, and then the Atlanta Hawks come back down the other end after a missed K3 with a Muhammad Gay offensive rebound tipping, and it's a 4-point game. The offensive approach in this pick and roll should be a pick and pop. Should be a pick and pop with Isaiah Stewart popping to the top of the key for an open three. That is what is supposed to happen. That is what is supposed to be happening. Not pick and roll. This is an adjustment that the Pistons did not perceive. Not just that, but they probably had a lineup where they could have went to some other options. But Cade is trying to take over here as the Hawks are mounting a comeback. Yeah, he's trying to take over a bit, especially because Chaz Lanier eats up 3 possessions with missed threes. And then the Detroit Pistons are watching this lead get whittled away. It's now a 4-point game. Dennis Jenkins is brought back into the game. So is Javonte Green, who makes a great find to a cutting Cade Cunningham for a lay-in. Yeah, Cortez, first game in a while that we got out-rebounded. And like I said, we have to box out. We don't do a good job of boxing out. And this team has the energy, the toughness, but also the length and athleticism to just make plays on the ball if you don't box out. Once again, another offensive rebound for the Atlanta Hawks for a kick out for a Jalen Johnson three. This time, it's Cade Cunningham failing to box out. And Jalen Johnson with a wide open three. Now we have Duren back in the game for Isaiah Stewart. This is a bit rough. We do have the pick and roll option now with Jalen Duren, but the closeout on that three is just not there. Duncan Robinson missed three, and Jalen Duren pulls down Onyeka Kongwu, who clears the glass, who boxes out Jalen Duren. And it's just a bad foul. It's one of those fouls that's right there in front of the referees, easy for them to see. Onyeka Kongwu's boxing you out. He's holding Jalen Duren a little bit, but Duren just gets caught with his hand in the cookie jar. And it's like, it's like one of those like obvious catches where you're like lightweight smiling, like, yeah, you got me. It's like, bro, it's a 3-point game. Now's not the time for that. Here you go. Oh, great action here. Atlanta Hawks, Dyson Daniels cuts backdoor against Cade Cunningham. Great feed from Onyeka Kongwu for a Dyson Daniels lay. Cade is behind the ball. Once again, damn, every time the camera spans, there's some beautiful women in Atlanta. That is just one spot. Let me just recognize, as they go to a timeout, beautiful women in Atlanta. There are very few spots that you see the women. Like sometimes I think they give tickets to like modeling agencies to just put attractive women in the stands, and you can kind of tell they're not really paying attention, kind of just on their phones. They're just there for the camera to pan. But then there's like Atlanta, where these beautiful women are actually cheering. They're actually like rooting, like following the game, like, oh, good bucket. And it was a good bucket. You know what I mean? Like they're into the game and just beautiful. Give me a love and basketball story. Give me a hooper turned baddie. That's what I'm looking for. A hooper turned baddie, you know what I mean, in my life. All right. With that said, the Pistons come out of the timeout. They get a good looking open three for Duncan Robinson, who misses the look. Atlanta clears, pushes back the other way. And here comes Atlanta, really mess things up. They sub out Mo Gay for Vic Krejci, I guess wanting some shooting maybe. But Vic Krejci is just a zero. He is a negative. He does absolutely nothing for them until the very end of this game when the game is somewhat out of reach. Great rotation defense by Javonte Green on helping out Duncan Robinson. Gets a loose ball against Dyson Daniels, and now they have a jump ball. Let me see. D-Rock, manifesting a hooper turned baddie for you, bro. Hey, you know what? That's why I love y'all. That's why I mess with y'all. You know what I'm saying? I want that for me. I want that for you if you single. I want that for everybody. Oh, off the jump ball. I don't know how Javonte Green beats Dyson Daniels on this jump ball. It's just grit. It's just he wanted it. He wanted it more. It gets tipped around. Dennis Jenkins gets to the loose ball. One man fast break. Dunks the ball in transition, showing off the bunnies and the athleticism. Great play by Dennis Jenkins coming up with that jump ball, loose ball for the dunk. We needed that to give us some breathing room. It's now a 3-point game after the dunk. 5 minutes and 45 seconds to go. Detroit Pistons are trying to clamp on defense. This is a great defensive possession. Jalen Duren moving his feet, not fouling Onyeka Kongwu. Great possession. Dennis Jenkins boxing out Nickeil Alexander-Walker. Man, Dennis Jenkins, he's going to be our sixth man. I don't think there's a more important player who will come off our bench than Dennis Jenkins. He will be how we stagger Ivy and Cade. Right there, straight up. He will be. Duncan Robinson coming off the curl screen. Such a smart player. God, I love Duncan Robinson. And this is a play that Dennis Jenkins sets up for us. He sets it up for us. He's running the offensive set. And this is without Cade Cunningham right now. Cade is not in the game. He runs this play for Duncan Robinson, comes off a Jalen Duren screen. Immediately, Duncan Robinson catches, curls, gives a little bit of a up fake just to pause that defender, puts the ball down, one dribble, finishes at the rim. Look, if you're missing from the perimeter, what do? You attack the rim. You attack the basket. This is just a veteran move. That's why Duncan Robinson is on this team in this rotation. Ever since Cade has been out, he has turned on the Jets. he has looked every bit like the Miami Heat Duncan Robinson we thought we were getting. It's just a beautiful play down the stretch when we needed it. It is now a 5-point game. Duncan Robinson is doing his thing. Dennis Jenkins running the offense to perfection. He just runs our offense to perfection. We do not have a better player who facilitates our offense than Dennis Jenkins. I cannot say that enough. Our bench unit, when Tobias Harris gets back and Jaden Ivey gets back, it's going to be a lineup that's going to look a lot like Dennis, Duncan, probably Javante, Tobias, and Paul Reed. You may think I'm playing with you. That's going to be our bench unit. Sorry, Ron. Sorry, Karras. That's going to be our bench unit. Literally. This is going to be a veteran bench unit that can score efficiently, that's going to create a lot of problems for other teams. We're back from the timeout. Asar Thompson catches Jalen Johnson over dribbling. It's about 5 minutes to go. We're up by 5. Man, Asar Thompson, the job that he does on Jalen Johnson in this fourth quarter is just absolutely masterful. He 100% dominates Jalen Johnson defensively. Jalen can't get anything against him. Jalen Duren immediately attacks Onyeka Kongwu on the other end. He goes baseline. He gets fouled. He's on the free throw line. Once again, somebody please look up for me Jalen Duren's success rate when he attacks his man off the bounce. We got to have some advanced stats on this. When he attacks his man off the dribble, I feel like it's almost guaranteed he either scores or he gets to the free throw line. Almost every single time. He is showing to be dominant in his ability to create his own shot off the bounce. And when he can continue to combine, being able to pass out of those attacks, man, and he makes his free throws, it is just incredible. Now he splits these free throws, but we're up by 6 with 4:45 to go. Here comes Atlanta pushing tempo. Jalen Johnson trying to get downhill. Great help defense by Asar Thompson off of Dyson Daniels, who he understands is a non-shooter. He immediately attacks Jalen Johnson, who gets the give and go. He backdoor cuts Duncan Robinson, gets the ball under the basket. Immediately, Asar Thompson is there the moment he catches it. He just literally takes the ball out of Jalen Johnson's hands. This is the second time Asar Thompson has just snatched the ball out of an offensive player's hands. Dennis Jenkins attacks downhill, gets it blocked by Okongwu, but what does that do? It frees up Jalen Duren for the offensive rebound and put back. Here comes Dyson Daniels attacking the basket in transition, wide open. It's actually really bad transition defense by the Pistons, allowing Dyson Daniels a straight line drive in the end. But Jalen Duren is in position, and he completely smothers Dyson Daniels, volleyball spiking that shot. I've often said Jalen Duren's offense feeds his defense. It feeds his defense. And then Dennis Jenkins, once again, running our offense to perfection, comes back on the other end, drives baseline, waits for Asar Thompson to cut without the ball, which is something we were waiting on the whole game. Be active even if you don't have the ball, and gets a wide open dunk. Beautiful dunk. Fantastic looking dunk. Now we're up by 10. Nickeil Alexander-Walker comes back on the other end with an answer, hits a 3 of his own to get it back to 7. But at this point in the game, we have this game under control. It's 3 minutes to go, and if I'm honest with you, we don't need Cade at this point, which is crazy. It's crazy that we're closing out a game and we don't need Cade. Look, Dennis Jenkins runs the pick and roll to perfection against, oh my goodness, he runs it to perfection. Drop pass to Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren makes the perfect read to kick out to Javonte Green, wide open in the corner. He just misses the 3. But we are executing. Our offense looks great in the hands of Dennis Jenkins. Look, it's what they say. It's not who starts, but who finishes. It's not who starts, but who finishes. Bro, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. And Asar Thompson with another amazing defensive play. He knocks the ball away on Dyson Daniels. They're going to challenge. I believe they're going to win this challenge. Asar Thompson with another fantastic defensive play in this fourth quarter. Look, you know what they say. It's not who starts, it's who finishes. Dennis Jenkins, by the time the playoffs come around, not even by the time the playoffs come around, I don't think we can finish a game, close out a game without Dennis Jenkins on the court. There is no one, and I mean no one, who runs our offense smoother than Dennis Jenkins has proven to over this past week. Let it be known, let it be said. There is no one who runs our offense better, period, than Dennis Jenkins. And if you can put Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham on his wings, and if I'm honest with you, Asar Thompson at the 4, and then we have Jalen Duren at the 5, bro, it's unstoppable. It's unstoppable. The options we'll have, the shooting we'll have. Keep in mind, Cade, Ivey, Jenkins can all shoot the 3. Run some pick and roll with Jalen Duren. Asar Thompson, off-ball movement, dunker spot, which he showed he could do a fantastic job of. Yo, it's going to be scary for teams. I don't know what you do with us. I don't know what you do with us. Yep, Dennis Jenkins, he plays the game, not the occasion. He just does what's needed. Would love to see how he match up against OKC over 7-game series. I would too. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. Is the Detroit Pistons versus Oklahoma City NBA Finals out of the question? Look, I know it's presumptuous. It's November. If you saw me on Resball TV last night, I said it. It's November. Let's not get too hyped over November. But this team still has so much meat left on the bone. This sandwich has only been taken 1 or 2 bites. There's so much left on the plate. This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, so it's just under 3 minutes to go. We actually did not win the challenge. JB Biggerstaff decides to go all defense. Woo! He subs out Duncan Robinson for Javonte Green. He trusts Javonte Green. This is a big-time move. Asar Thompson with another fantastic defensive play. Let me see. Onyeka Kongwu swings it to Jalen Johnson, who attacks Asar Thompson, who bats the ball back in Jalen Johnson's face, rejects his shot at the rim. Javonte Green gets the rebound. Cade bringing it back the other way. Asar Thompson is one of those dudes. He's like Darrelle Revis in football, or he's like what's his name, Charles Woodson. You just don't go at him. You just don't. You just surrender. Whoever he's covering is just going to be a decoy. It's just not in the game. You're playing 4-on-4, right? Whoever Asar Thompson is guarding, that's it. Cade Cunningham tries to do a little hero ball, gets a bit heliocentric. This is where I would love for them to have ran a play instead of Cade just trying to create. This is where he really does kind of work against us. No one else touches the ball. He tries to create, and Atlanta comes back the other way, pushing tempo. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who plays a hero in this game, gets all the way to the cup and the and one, scores against Cade Cunningham. Cade Cunningham with just a lazy foul. It's just a lazy foul. And now Nickeil has a chance for an and one. Gets the game to 5 points. And now he's at the free throw line. Offensive defensive substitution. Great job by JB Bickerstaff here. Subbing out. He subs out Dennis Jenkins for Duncan Robinson. I would have kept Jenkins in and subbed out Javonte Green with Duncan Robinson. Maybe he thought that Dennis Jenkins was tired. Maybe he just, I don't know. I like Dennis Jenkins' three-point shooting. I like his facilitating. I like his setting up the offense. And I think it would allow us to get Cade at his spots easier. But this pick and roll action, this action that they run here is actually really good. Even though they don't get a shot off and it's a shot clock violation, great defense by the Atlanta Hawks on this possession. They run a little pick and roll action. They don't have the initial look. They swing the ball to Duncan Robinson, who's able to get downhill, dumps it off to Jalen Duren. He gets fouled on this possession. A foul call is not called, but then it's a shot clock violation. Dennis Jenkins should be in the game for Javonte Green. But it just, once again, it shows how much JB Bickerstaff trusts Javonte Green. Nickeil Alexander-Walker the other way creates his own shot, gets downhill, and draws a foul against Jalen Duren. They've got to lock in. I think I want Dennis Jenkins instead of Javonte Green to close out this game. Nickeil Alexander-Walker is really the hero. He's really saying, like, get out my way. I'm going to bring us back. I see that Jalen Johnson doesn't have it, especially against Asar Thompson. I'm attacking. He's at the free throw line, makes the first of two. It is a 3-point game. I want to say Nickeil Alexander-Walker is on a 7-point run on his own, about to make it 8 and make it a 2-point game. This is wild. Offensive defensive substitution. JB Bickerstaff subs in Isaiah Stewart and Dennis Jenkins for Asar Thompson and Javonte Green. This is, I'm going to be honest with you, this is once again JB Bickerstaff figuring out his rotations. He's got a lot of guys to integrate. Dennis Jenkins gets us into our offensive set. Cade Cunningham catches the ball above the free throw line, which is where we say we want him getting the ball. He turns, he fades, and he scores. This is what I've been saying. This is it. This is it. That is it. Right there, right there. Oh my goodness. With a minute and a half to go, Dennis Jenkins brings the ball up effectively against full court pressure. Post-entry pass. Cade Cunningham could have gotten the ball a little bit lower, right? He's got to learn to stand on that nail at the elbow. But he catches the ball a little bit higher, turns, faces, 1 to 2 dribbles, turns, fades over Dyson Daniels from about 10 feet out, makes the turnaround fadeaway, nothing but net. That is Cade's shot. And who got Cade the ball in his spot to be able to score easily? Dennis Jenkins. That is going to be our closing offense. That is probably our best play outside of pick and rolls with Jalen Duren or bringing Duncan Robinson off the off-ball screen, movement shooting. That was a huge play for us. Goes from a 2-point game to now a 4-point game with a minute and 11 seconds to go. Isaiah Stewart now matched up against Jalen Johnson. Jalen Johnson is going to try his hand against Isaiah Stewart. Misses. Isaiah Stewart with a great defensive stop. Going back the other way, Cade Cunningham attacks downhill all the way for the and one against Onyeka Okongwu. Once again, Cade Cunningham in transition is a thing of beauty. Our defense creating our offense for us. Jalen Duren finally with a strong closeout on Onyeka Okongwu, not giving up 3, and then he clears the board. This is when it's just about game over. We're up by 6. Great stop. Duren with the rotation. And then JB Bickerstaff is so smart. Cade Cunningham was about to do what we have constantly maligned him for doing. Bringing the ball up against pressure, getting right past half court, and then picking up the ball. This is literally, they teach you this in middle school, to never, ever, 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 ever pick up the ball just past half court, because now a defender can use the sideline and the half court line behind you as extra defenders. If you bring a trap right here, you are dead in the water, which is literally what Atlanta smartly does as soon as Cade picks up the ball. JB Bickerstaff is on it. Timeout. Great job, JB. Great job coaching your ass off. Oh, we closing out this game. We closing out this game. Because that would have been on you. Because at this point, we know that that's what Cade does. He hasn't figured it out. You should know it. You should see it. You have to save your best player from himself sometimes. You just do. And he calls a timeout. Great job. Cade Cunningham, his 5th consecutive game with 25 points and 10 plus assists. Longest streak in franchise history. Wow, that's kind of wild. That's kind of wild. 25 and 10. That's kind of wild. That's a hell of a streak. fifth consecutive game with 25 points and 10 assists. Longest streak in franchise history. That's kind of wild. That's kind of wild. I'm kind of trying to think. Isaiah Thomas may be the only other player to get close to that. Probably have four, but he's now the longest. Wow, that is kind of wild. Let's see if that streak continues against Milwaukee with no Giannis. All right, Dennis Jenkins still in the game. They're coming back from timeout. 33 seconds left to go. They got the lineup I wanted with Dennis, Duran, Duncan Robinson, D-Rob, Cade, and Stu. Kind of would have rather had Asar Thompson, but I'm not mad at that. Isaiah Stewart still shows the shooting ability, even though he does not shoot in this game. Yeah, Cortez. Jenkins got to be a part of the closing lineups. Is it just me with the insight comment here? Being healthy, OKC don't want this offense, don't want this smoke. But the refs will bail out OKC and the foul merchant SGA. Mark my words. I think Asar Thompson on SGA causes problems. Causes problems. Let me say problems for SGA. I think Asar Thompson has the respect of referees at this point enough to play his brand of defense. And with Isaiah Stewart behind him, Cade Cunningham available, Dennis Jenkins, Jalen Duran behind him, having a plethora of guys who can switch. I just think that's just it's a really bad matchup for SGA. Really bad matchup for SGA. Isaiah Stewart, Jalen Duran knocking down their free throws to close out this game. It's now a 7-point game with 30 seconds left to go. It's pretty much curtains. Javonte Green, offensive defensive substitution. Timeout by Atlanta. It's now an 8-point game. Great job in this closing out of this game. I would say the play calling, spot on in this game. Spot on down the stretch. Outside of Cade over dribbling a couple times. Dennis Jenkins getting the ball to Cade in his spot. Running a little pick and roll, swing action. Getting the ball to the right guys at the right time. It's been a thing of beauty. Okay. JB Bickerstaff deploys his "we need to get a stop right here" unit. Even though they don't get it, they have Javonte Green on Vic Krejci, who's going to hit this crazy, wild three-point shot. Once again, Vic Krejci is about 6'9", shooting against 6'4" Javonte Green. Yeah, Vic got away with a little push-off, but he knocks down the shot. Jalen Duran gets fouled on the inbounds pass. And now he's going to the free throw line. He's fouled by Onyeka Okongwu, who I believe is about to foul out. Yeah, I think he fouls out at this point. Jalen Duran makes both of his free throws. It is now a 7-point game with Onyeka Okongwu fouled out of the game. Yeah. Atlanta played a good game. Atlanta played a great game. They really took advantage of some of the lack of awareness, the different lineups, stuff that we were trying to do. But this was a good ass game. This was just a good ass game. That's what I'm trying to say. All this talking for the last hour and a half. This was just a good ass game. Atlanta played their asses off, pushed us, and that's what we want. We want to be pushed because that allows us to recognize what we have in us, and where we need to grow and figure things out. I really hope Sasser gets an opportunity. I don't think he will. I really want him to get an opportunity too, unless there are injuries. Sasser's going to get a lot of DNPs. And I feel for him. I totally feel for him. It's something that's just beyond his control. He got hurt. It was or wasn't in the cards. But you have, this is funny. 22 seconds left to go. Vic Krejci hits this crazy turnaround three. Once again against Javonte Green, 6'9" versus 6'5". Javonte is smart, does not risk fouling. Just makes a crazy, almost half-court shot. It's a 5-point game. They inbound the ball to Jalen Duren. Asar Thompson inbounds the ball to Jalen Duren. What's hilarious about this, Muhammad Gay makes a bad play. He fouls Jalen Duren, who's been making his free throws, 4 of 7 for the night, but it's like 70-some%, 80-some% for the season. What he should have done was allow Jalen Duren to pass it right back to Asar Thompson, which he does, and then fouled Asar Thompson, who's struggling mightily from the free throw line. And that would have been a better play for the Atlanta Hawks because it was only a 5-point game. I'm sorry, a 4-point game at the time. Now it's a 5 and 6-point game. 22 seconds left to go. Jalen Johnson brings the ball up against Isaiah Stewart. He doesn't stand a chance against those guys. Dyson Daniels wants no part of Javonte Green. We clear the board, and that's just about all she wrote. Jalen Duren gets fouled again. I think he's going to knock down his free throws. And that's about all she wrote. We're going to end up winning this game by 8. They miss again. We clear the rebound, and we're just going to dribble the ball out. All right. Hell of a game. Great game by the Pistons. Hawks. Nickeil Alexander-Walker proves to be a baller. Rises to the occasion, but does not get any help from anyone else, except a little bit too late by Vic Krejci. Jalen Johnson gets smothered by Isaiah Stewart and Asar Thompson, completely taken out of the fourth quarter. Yeah, this is a great team win. There's a lot to learn from this game. Let's take a couple more comments before I jump off. Cortez Whitlow. JB got a problem on his hands. He has to tinker with this lineup on the fly. Jenkins and Green are going to eat up someone's minutes. They are, especially when Tobias Harris comes back, especially when Jaden Ivey comes back. And as I've said multiple times, our bench unit is going to be Dennis Jenkins, Duncan Robinson, Javonte Green, Tobias Harris, Paul Reed. You have facilitation and playmaking in Dennis Jenkins. You have your shooter with Duncan Robinson. You have your glue guy, perimeter defender, dive on the floor, grab the rebound, get out in transition, and Javonte Green, whose three-point shot I think will also continue to get better. Then you'll have Tobias Harris, who can create his own shot and be aggressive, ultra aggressive, coming off the bench. And then Paul Reed, who's another glue guy who does a lot of what Javonte Green does, except at 6'9". That's going to be our bench unit. Karis LeVert, I don't think he gives us more than what Dennis or Duncan is giving us. He's a really good player. And there may be times where we go more offensive with Karis LeVert over Javonte Green. But if we are fully healthy, I think that's our bench unit. That's our bench 5. That is our 5 off the bench if we're healthy. And it's going to squeeze Karis and Ron out of the rotation. But hey, I appreciate all of y'all being on this live with me. I hope you enjoyed the rewatch with me. There's a lot of things to consider. As we keep saying, it's going to be a problem for JB Bickerstaff to figure out because guys like Karis LeVert are in a contract year. How are we going to manage that? B-Ball Paul is also in a contract year, 1-1, I believe. Dennis Jenkins in a contract. So you have to do right by these guys. You need to do right by these guys. Give them an opportunity. But at the same time, you can't really fault it. It's like, what do you do? You know, like, you're not a starter for us. That's going to be Ivy. You're not outplaying Duncan Robinson. You're not outplaying Javonte Green. So unless you can outplay Javonte Green, Karis, you're going to be the one on the bench. I think it's going to be between those two. But Ron, I don't think Ron is going to outplay Duncan, Karis, or Tobias, or Javonte, right? So he's going to get squeezed out a lot of those minutes once we're fully healthy. But like I said, like I always say, you know, injuries happen. They're going to keep happening. It's a part of the game. Fortunately, we have the depth to where guys can step up and step in. Hopefully, also, Ron Holland uses a lot of his time to learn from these veterans, watch the game. So when he comes in the game, he can be maximally effective and make the most of those minutes. But we shall see. We have the Milwaukee Bucks on Saturday. I'll probably go live again tomorrow morning potentially, so we can talk a little bit about what to expect um, on Saturday, especially with Giannis out. Here's the thing: sometimes teams play more collectively better, and the Pistons should know this because they just experienced it. Sometimes they play more collectively better when their superstar is out. So I would not be shocked if the Milwaukee Bucks don't play extremely hard because everyone else is healthy. I believe everyone else is healthy. I'll probably do a preview maybe Saturday morning before the game. Shoot, I might do the preview tomorrow morning. Who knows? All this to say is Ryan Rollins is having a breakout year. Same trainer, shout out, as Dennis Jenkins. Ryan Rollins is about 6'4", 6'5". Plays like a dog, just like Dennis Jenkins, and has been hooping. Which is going to be really interesting to see when Kevin Porter Jr. returns. What are they going to do with that? Because Cole Anthony's been hooping too. Maybe you start Kevin Porter Jr. and Ryan Rollins together. That could be a really nice move. And AJ Green has come off the bench with Gary Trent and Cole Anthony. I could see that. Still got Torian Prince coming back soon. Kyle Kuzma's in the starting lineup at the 3. Bobby Portis off the bench. They have a legit rotation. I think they're going to press us a lot like the Atlanta Hawks did. You got Miles Turner who's going to let it fly from 3. Guaranteed. I need to see JB Bigstaff with a designated scheme for taking away the 3 ball from the opposing big, because it can't just be Jalen Duren, Isaiah Stewart. Make sure you remember to close out, because we're going to get torched by Miles Turner, who often torched us in Indiana. Remember, we haven't beaten the Milwaukee Bucks, I want to say, since 2018, we are like 25-26. Like, we've lost 25 out of 26 games, I believe, against them since 2018. We only have 1 win over the past 7 years against them. We have got to beat the Bucks. With or without Giannis, I don't care. We've got to beat them every time we see them. We have to send a clear message, especially when Giannis gets back. You are no longer the big bro. You are no longer the big bro. So I'm going to do a preview either tomorrow morning or Saturday morning. But that should be a great game. D-Rock was good. Hopefully they didn't party too hard for JD's birthday. You know they did, bro. And we can stay sharp because I really want to see us beat the Bucks for once. Let me be clear. You got a bunch of 21 and 22-year-old, 23-year-old NBA players in Atlanta. And you know who probably showed them out? Karis and Javante and Paul. Those mid to late 20s who've done the Atlanta thing a few times and know where to go. I guarantee you they set up the night of their lives. I guarantee you they probably rented out Magic City. They probably shut it out just so that Ron could go too, because he's only 20. Just so that Ron could go. Slide him in. Slide him in. You got to bring Ron. You got to bring Ron. And if you had never been, if you've never been to Atlanta, yo, I'm just saying. I co-sign. Some of the baddest. Let me see. Rashad Walker. This will be more psychological than anything tomorrow night. Yeah. Well, not even tomorrow night. We don't play until Saturday. Rashad. I'm pretty sure we do not play until Saturday. Yep, we play the Bucks, 8 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. So, yeah, they went crazy, D-Rock. They went crazy out there. You got 3 days off, bro. It's the perfect look. I'd be asking for favors. If my birthday somehow can fall in either Atlanta, New York, on the road, and then I get 2 to 3 days off in between games. You are asking for that entire squad to go wild the fuck out. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm glad they live their best life. I'm glad they live their best life. Rashad Walker, a couple last comments here. Pistons have many hurdles to clear. Many hurdles to clear. The main one being Milwaukee. They at least beat Cleveland last year in the regular season. Denver is another team that has dominated us. Yeah, so we play Milwaukee on Saturday. I think we get that W. I think they also play us very close, similar to Atlanta. Kyle Kuzma's game is very close to Jalen Johnson's game. Similar measurements, similar athleticism, similar styles of play. Kyle Kuzma is more of a volume shooter than Jalen is, less of a playmaker. Miles Turner is more of a three-point threat than Onyeka Kongwu, and yet Onyeka got off against us. They have a lot of pieces there. They have a lot of pieces there. I think it's going to be a competitive game. I think we will pull it out similarly. I want to see tighter rotations, especially because Karras should be available. I don't think we should see Chaz Lanier on Saturday. I know he hit three threes. He also missed three threes in the fourth when we needed it. I think we see Karis LeVert. And that's another player who's not going to get playing time once we get healthy. Dennis Jenkins should still be in the starting lineup unless Ivy is back. I think we are starting. Man, I mean, that's the question. Who do we start? Dennis or Duncan? That is a real question. Who do we start, Dennis or Duncan? Because it's going to be Cade, it's going to be Asar, it's going to be Stu, it's going to be Durant. It might be Dennis because I think Dennis gives us a feel for what we would want to look for when Ivy returns more than Duncan does. But then if I'm honest with you, how Duncan plays, I'll put it this way. Ivy is not the movement shooter that Duncan is, but he is a really good sharp shooting 3-point shooter. We're going to see what JB Bickerstaff wants to go with. Who we go with, I think, will also represent the style of play we want once Ivy gets back. So that will be really interesting. But yeah, that is for ongoing conversations. Probably I'll do some shorts in between now and tomorrow. And then, of course, getting ready for the game on Saturday. Yo, I always like to leave you with a word of the day. I'll say this. Life is for living. I keep saying that. Life is for living. You should be pursuing to live your life to the fullest every single day. But there's this book called Pleasure Activism. It's really dope. Adrienne Marie Brown. And she posits that pleasure is not nearly what feels good in the moment. Pleasure is what is deeply fulfilling. It's what is deeply fulfilling. And when we can shape our lives by what is deeply fulfilling, it has the ability to transform our lives. I truly believe whatever you put the most energy into is what will come to fruition in your life. And if you're putting all your energy into doing what you have to do and surviving, that is what your life will be about. You can similarly put your energy into what excites you, what inspires you, what empowers you, what makes you thrive every single day, and that will come to fruition as well. I will say this, that surviving for a lot of us has a head start. We went from K through 12, surviving. We went to college, surviving. We picked up a trade, surviving. We got our jobs, surviving. And so we have about 10 to 20 years of working how to survive. If we're going to create a life where we can thrive, we're going to have to redirect that energy. It doesn't mean everything's going to go smooth. It just means that for us to get what we are trying to gain in our lives, to begin to thrive, we are going to have to sacrifice the short-term gain of the survival mentality and the survival lifestyle so that we can have the long-term gain of thriving and flourishing. You're going to have to redirect that energy. You're going to put the energy somewhere, but you have to ask yourself, what is your long-term outlook? What do you desire for your life? And I truly believe that bringing in what is fulfilling, what is rewarding, what is exciting, what is inspiring is all there for us. But we have to build that life. And you can't build that life embedded in surviving every single day. You just can't. You just can't. It's two totally different directions. I'm not saying quit your job and all that. I'm saying start putting energy into thriving. And there's going to come a certain point where you're going to have to choose, and it's going to have to be a handoff. Maybe it's after a year, maybe it's after 5 years, however long it takes you. Maybe you're already in that place. But you're going to have to choose what you're going to put your life force energy into. Your talents, your skills, your gifts, your connections, your resources, your community supports, the conversations you have, the books you read, the YouTube videos you watch, and your algorithms, right? You're going to have to begin to redirect away from surviving and trying to get comfortable in that discomfort, or thriving and having to redirect what you pay attention to and what you begin to pour your life into. So, hey, I always like to leave y'all with a little something. I hope that's something you can put in your pocket and just chew on throughout the day. Love y'all. Appreciate this community so much. If you haven't already, smash the like button for me. Hit the like button, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Share the video. Truly appreciate all of y'all. Look forward to our next conversations and interactions. I'm going to holler at y'all in the chats, in the comment sections, and I'll get at y'all later. Have an amazing day. Peace.